Infrastructure is important for faster economic growth and alleviation of poverty, and that's why in Nigeria, government and partners continue to expend huge resources in providing functional infrastructure in the form of road and railway transport system, ports, power and airports, also needed for integration of the economy and projecting gross domestic product (GDP). In fact, how a nation deals with the provision of infrastructure to grow the economy provides the baseline of how it is viewed through the eyes of other economies of the world. On Weekend File tonight, we will update you on federal government's national infrastructure projects, particularly with regards to the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. Landmark projects such as roadways, infrastructure development projects by the federal government, more than 600 that are ongoing, major upgrade or rehabilitation are evident. Like Oliver Twist, the aspiration by Nigerians is unending, as the government's commitment to delivering on an improved national road network inherited at different stages of disrepair is also work in progress. Our discussion as we navigate through different states of the Federation is taking a look at infrastructural development, progress and challenges. Engineer Babagana Mohammed, President, Nigerian Society of Engineers, will be my guest during the discussion segment. This is Weekend File, and I am Joseph Johnson. As always, the news comes first. President Muhammadu Buhari last week strongly condemned the attack on the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria and a member of the Presidential Economic Advisory Council, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, and directed security agencies to fish out the perpetrators. Few days after the presidential directive, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Rabo, visited Anambra State and held talks with the state governor, Willie Obiano. Ndemkalu has details of the meeting.
The visit was to reassure the people of the state that security agencies in the country are battle ready for all criminal elements and activities in and around the state, as there is no hiding place for them.
I would like to warn very sternly every criminal that is hibernating within the space of Anambra and of course the larger Nigeria to find a different space entirely. We will go after them and ensure that our people live in peace and harmony.
Governor Obiano, while receiving the Chief of Defense Staff, noted that the visit was on the directive of President Muhammadu Buhari to tackle security challenges in the state, maintaining that security of lives and property remains its top priority.
I want to tell the Anambra that it is not going to be business as usual for the criminals that are here. We're going to deal with them ruthlessly.
Criminals are therefore advised to change or face the full wrath of the law. From Aguleri, Ndemkalu, NTN News.
A decentralized policing system in Nigeria has been described as the sure way to confront the current security challenges. Governor Gboyega Oyetola made the submission at the annual colloquium of the Sultan Machido Institute for Peace, Leadership and Development Studies. Joshua Ogunjide reports.
Governor Gboyega Oyetola, who was the guest lecturer for this year's annual colloquium of the Sultan Machido Institute for Peace and Development Studies, x-rayed the country's security challenges and emphasized that the centralized policing system could no longer meet the current realities. While acknowledging the efforts of the federal government through the police at establishing community police, Governor Gboyega Oyetola noted that the constitutional provision that assigned the role of Chief Security Officer to the governors will be more appropriate to provide corresponding power and control of the security to the governors to enable them live up to their responsibility effectively.
For proper security of lives and property of our people and the prompt containment of growing challenges, we must inevitably now engage our traditional institutions. Governors particularly cannot afford not to look in the direction of the traditional institutions.
The governor who described security as the main facilitator of sustainable economic development and good governance, explained that the Southwest Neighborhood Security Network Code, named Amotekun, is out to complement the conventional security agencies to effectively tackle armed banditry, kidnapping, and armed robbery. Joshua Wuchide, NT News.
Wives of state governors have reaffirmed their commitment to support initiatives that will facilitate laws and policies aimed at tackling gender-based violence, as well as health and girl-child education. This is part of the 12-point communique of the Summit on Emerging Trends in the role of the First Lady in National Development, organized by the Office of the First Lady of Nigeria in collaboration with Women and National Development. State House correspondent Aliyu Kabir reports.
The summit of the spouses of the governors on the theme, Emerging Trends in the Role of the First Lady in National Development, specifically designed to, among others, identify the challenges in the course of discharging their duties as wives of the governors, of impacting the lives of women, children, and other vulnerable groups with optimism of surmounting them for a better future of Nigerians, especially at the grassroots. As part of the 12-point communique released at the end of the summit, the governor's wives acknowledged the tremendous contribution of the First Lady Aisha Muhammadu Buhari and assured her of their support towards uplifting the lives of the Nigerian women and children.
At all strata, our women are so capable, they must be given a stronger voice, and us First Ladies must begin to do not just the work of looking after women empowerment, women advancement in every other areas apart from politics. We must also begin to look at the political space and begin to encourage and strengthen our women, pick them, choose them, push them out, support them, get our husbands to support women, and let's join the men to bring about the change we need in our country.
So we must at all times try to accelerate the course of womanhood and accelerate our own bonds that will make us stronger.
The last 6 years we've been together or more with some of you has been a very cordial relationship, very mutual one of give and take, of mutual respect, of what can I do for you and what can you do for me, and we come together and we do it not for ourselves but for the sake of humanity.
The role of a presidential and party booster relies heavily on the First Lady's success as a campaigner. Also, in order for the First Lady to be a social advocate, she must first be a recognizable public figure. While it is undeniable that First Ladies hold influence over their husbands, modern First Ladies are also expected to be involved in politics to one degree or another.
Participants reaffirmed their commitment to continue to be reliable means of grassroots mobilization, as well as to strengthen advocacy towards transforming the lives of women and children in the country. From the State House, Aliyu Kabir, NTA News.
Let's turn to the legislature, where the Senate President Ahmed Lawan has stressed the need for the protection of facilities provided by the government to ensure prudence in resource management. He made this known while inaugurating the newly rehabilitated Ivan Ewerem Road in Owerri. Bright Buchuo reports.
Ivan Ewerem Road, formerly known as Akachi Road, was renamed by Governor Hope Uzodimma in appreciation of the contributions of Chief Ewerem as one of the founding fathers of Imo State. Senate President Ahmed Lawan, while inaugurating the road, commended Governor Uzodimma for his dedication to the transformation of the state through infrastructural development.
Both the federal government under President Muhammadu Buhari's leadership and Imo State under the leadership of Senator Hope Uzodimma received far less than the previous administrations, and yet they do far more than the previous administration.
Our destination is to make Imo State a better place for all residents, while providing basic amenities and services, as well as deepening democracy generally.
The Chief Ivan Ewerem Road is one of the projects completed by the Imo State government within 1 year in office in Owerri. Bright Buchuo, NTA News.
Minister of Transportation Chibuike Rotimi Amechi has directed for the removal of trucks blocking rail tracks into Apapa Port. He gave this directive at the monthly inspection tour of the Lagos-Ibadan rail line project. Oyinaya Kaluoka reports.
It is the monthly inspection exercise that takes the minister and his team into every nook and cranny where rail construction is ongoing. This time around, the minister could not get into Apapa Port as the tracks were blocked by truck drivers.
And we have to stop them now. We either stop them or we stop the owner of that terminal.
Why are the 10 train stations located in 3 states of Lagos, Ogun and Oyo? Work has reached advanced stage, but the minister called for speedy completion by the contractors.
Remarkable progress, especially at the Apapa station. It's where they had made a quantum leap.
Addressing the problem of flooding affecting some communities and the need to extend the parking space capacity in all the 10 stations were raised.
Most of the stations, the minister is insisting at minimum of 250 cars because as time goes by, you will not come back and start developing a car park.
The minister disclosed that work for the Ibadan-Kano is expected to commence as soon as funds are released. Oyinaya Kaluoka, NTA News.
Now, a 5-man committee has been set up to look into irregularities in the payment of doctors' salaries, while the National Offices Committee of the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, NARD, has been mandated to urgently consult with its Executive Council on resolutions reached from the conciliation meeting between the federal government and representatives of the group with a view to cooling off the ongoing strike. Charles Alpha reports.
On 31st of last month, representatives of the federal government met with the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors with the hope of resolving their demands, but that was not to be, as the doctors proceeded on the strike action despite motion put in place by the federal government to tackle their demands. That meeting continued last night between the parties with an addendum to the memorandum of action reached in March.
In view of all these understandings, the meeting asked NARD National Officers Committee NOC to consult urgently with the Executive Council with a view to giving this conciliation process a chance to endorse strategies for the care of our patients.
I believe that the progress that has been made so far will be taken to logical conclusion as to make those on strike go back to work.
Me and the National Officers Committee will take this back to our members with the hope of calling off the strike tomorrow.
In Abuja, Charles Alpha, NTA News.
A bit on politics now. The People's Democratic Party Northwest Zonal Congress has ended abruptly. Haruna Mohammed reports that there was serious disagreement among delegates on account of alleged manipulations.
Delegates of the People's Democratic Party from Northwest Zone have arrived at Kaduna International Trade Fair Complex, venue of the meeting preparatory to election of zonal executives. However, pandemonium broke among delegates accusing each other of manipulation. This halted proceeding and party officials have to postpone the Congress.
Election is not a fight. It's not a do-or-die affair. It's a question of demonstrating yourself and let people accept you.
As a result of the chaotic nature of the venue, there were heavy traffic gridlock which forced motorists plying Kaduna Zaria Highway to spend hours. In Kaduna, Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
The Nigerian Oil and Gas Park scheme in Otuoke, Bayelsa State, when completed, is expected to create over 2,000 jobs. Minister of State Petroleum Resources Timi Presilva stated this during an inspection of the site executed by the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board in Ogbea local government area. Doris Akumoye reports.
The Nigerian Oil and Gas Park scheme, initiated in 2019, is located in Otweke, Ogbe local government area of Bayelsa State. A brainchild of the Nigerian Content and Monitoring Board, the park is geared towards manufacturing oil and gas equipment locally and generate revenue for the sector. Minister of State Petroleum Resources inspected the ongoing project site. He reaffirmed the commitment of the Buhari-led administration to providing jobs for the people of the Niger Delta region and reduce the insecurity challenges in the creeks. The minister noted that the project is 70% completed and commended the board for the quality of work on the ground, while calling on host communities to support government towards its completion.
So, as a responsible government, one of the first things you must do is to try to see how those very able-bodied and qualified young people who are unemployed will be gainfully employed. And I want to tell you that Mr. President is very committed to this mandate.
Mr. Simbi Webute is Executive Secretary, Nigerian Content and Monitoring Board. He said the project will accommodate administrative block, hostels, capacity training center, mini park estate, as well as manufacturing workshop, among others.
Accessibility is not too key because this is a manufacturing park where people can manufacture and evacuate their products. So that road, when it comes to play, will provide that evacuation route for the manufactured goods from this park.
The project is built to be commissioned in the last quarter of 2022. In Otweke, Ogbe local government area of Bayelsa State, Doris Akomoye, NTA News.
Ahead of the April 29th rollout of the second phase of digital switchover to revolutionize the broadcasting industry in Nigeria, the Director General NTA Yakubu Ibn Mohammed says the African largest television network will provide a breathtaking content to the viewer through digital broadcasting. He stated this in Abeokuta, Ogun State, at the inauguration of the third chairman, Nigerian Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers, Abeokuta chapter. Lekon Agbonde has more.
Malam Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, who was represented by the Executive Director Engineering, Moses Okpanachi, says digital switchover will no doubt attract competition for the market share of the existing television channels, and that is why NTA, the African largest television network, is working round the clock to sustain its leading role in the media industry through the exploration of digital broadcasting.
We want to design a program that will be relevant to our needs, and we need to update our news with the realities of what is on ground.
Former Director General, National Broadcasting Commission, Yomi Bolaniwa, while speaking on the imperative of digital broadcasting, advocated total migration from analog to digital broadcasting for Nigerians to follow the global trends and interact with other cultures in the world.
Digitization is here. Is battered in broadcasting, and for the Nigerian broadcaster, there is no going back. We all have to embrace it, we all have to understand it, and make good use of it.
Our first plan is to organize the first Power Energy Summit in the state, where we look at energy issue as a whole. We intend to do this in collaboration with Ogun State Bureau of Electrical Engineering Services.
The event also witnessed presentation of awards to some distinguished personalities. In Abeokuta, Lekon Agbonde, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari extends heartfelt condolences to Governor Mai Mala Buni of Yobe State and members of his family on the passing of their beloved mother and grandmother, Ajia Fatima Malum Yuram. The president prays for the peaceful repose of the soul of Ajia Yuram, described as an embodiment of peace and motherhood, who lived a remarkable life of humility until she passed on at the age of 102. President Buhari urges the family members and other well-wishers to treasure Ajia Yuram's memory by upholding the strong bond of kindness and unity within the family and community. Meanwhile, Lere Emirate Council in Kaduna State has announced the death of Emir of Lere, Brigadier General Garba Muhammad, aged 78. The late Emir died after a brief illness. He was former military governor of Old Sokoto State. Late General Garba Muhammad attended the famous Barewa College, Zaria, between 1959 to 1963. He was commissioned as lieutenant in the Nigerian Army Regular Combatant. He served in the various capacities and appointed the 13th Emir of Lere. His remains have since been buried in his hometown, Lere in Kaduna State. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has expressed condolences on the death of Britain's Prince Philip. The UN scribe in a message said the Duke of Edinburgh capably supported Queen Elizabeth II in her duties as sovereign for over 60 years.
The Secretary-General is saddened at the passing of His Royal Highness Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, the husband of Queen Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. He extends condolences to Her Majesty the Queen and to the people of the United Kingdom. He was known for his dedication to charitable causes as a patron of some 800 organizations, in particular those focused on the environment, industry, sport, and education. The Secretary-General pays tribute to the Duke of Edinburgh for his active work for the betterment of humankind.
Late Philip, who is the longest-serving consort in British history, died Friday at the age of 99. President Muhammadu Buhari extends sympathy to Lere Emirate Council government and people of Kaduna State over passing of the Emir of Lere, retired Brigadier General Garba Muhammad. The president condoles with family members, friends and associates of the former military governor of Sokoto State, whose reputation for discipline, loyalty and passionate commitment to unity and development of the country will always be remembered. In a statement by his senior special assistant on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, President Buhari praised that Almighty God will accept the soul of the statesman and grant him Al-Jannah Firdaus. Let's take some messages now. When we come back, Weekend File continue. Stay with us.
Times are tough. We know that as a mother, one thing you should never compromise on is your family's oral health, because they deserve the best. Oral-B, all-round protection. It's great value. It protects your mouth from harmful bacteria and also protects you against tooth holes and gum problems which can lead to tooth loss. It strengthens your family's teeth and gives them all-round protection. So remember, protect their future. Oral-B for healthier, stronger teeth in just 1 week.
Not all washing powders are the same. Sunlight adds bursts of freshness to cleaning power to give you Sunlight 2-in-1 for sensational cleaning and freshness that lasts. Sunlight 2-in-1, sensational cleaning with burst after burst of freshness. Introducing Sunlight with luxurious oud fragrance.
Son, being good at something requires strength. It requires putting in more. That's why the new improved Bonvita is packed with vitality and a richer, creamier taste.
Mommy is back!
Guess what's inside?
Chocolate! Biscuit! Our new toothpaste, Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection. Why are we changing our toothpaste? Because with Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection, I can be sure your teeth are cavity-free. Cavity? What cavity? Let me show you.
Most toothaches are caused by tooth holes called cavities. When you brush daily with Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection, its expert formula locks natural calcium in our teeth and helps protect them from cavity.
It also has natural mint for minty fresh breath every day. Mom, can I eat chocolates now? As long as you brush with Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection.
Colgate is the world's most chosen toothpaste.
Colgate locks calcium in. Keeps cavities out!
Recommended by the Nigerian Dental Association.
My name is Osage Ehanere. I am Minister of Health. We have just taken the vaccine. It is the AstraZeneca vaccine. This vaccine is safe, properly researched. It is in use in many countries. We urge all Nigerians to submit themselves to taking this vaccine. Persons who are 18 years old above, Otherwise, it is safe. You take your second dose after a period of about 10 to 12 weeks, and then you have immunity. Nigeria is aiming to vaccinate 70% of our population, and therefore be one of that 70% to give us herd immunity. Herd immunity means that Nigerians will not easily become infected even if they get in contact with the coronavirus.
Thanks for staying with us. You're still watching NTA Weekend File with me, Joseph Johnson. The infrastructural intervention of the federal government in Lagos State is focused around reducing the cost of doing business while eliminating long turnaround time lost in traffic. Michael Alale reports that the approach is to make business activities within the port seamless.
The Apapa Corridor is Nigeria's window to unearthing the massive wealth across the Atlantic, and the present administration has deployed infrastructure to ease access into the ports. In a report published by the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry in 2018, an average of 5,000 trucks struggle to access Apapa ports on a daily basis, which in turn cost the country 6.7 trillion naira losses annually due to time wasted on roads. But the determination to change the tide did not just stimulate the speeding up of the construction of the Lagos-Ibadan rail line, but its extension by 8 kilometers to maneuver the ports.
It is helpful to the economy in the sense that we need to have a multimodal approach, as I've always said, to delivery and the evacuation of cargo from our ports.
Already, the laying of tracks on the standard gauge has finally entered the Apapa port, while Tinkan Island port is next in line. But it is imperative to stress that this initiative is already awakening the hope of investors that the presidential mandate of reducing the cost of doing business in Nigeria by 30% is a done deal.
Somebody in Kaduna, in Port Harcourt, can actually easily move its goods, and it's cheaper.
The Apapa Oshodi Oworo-Shoki Expressway is a gateway to the seaports in Lagos. An effort to eliminate time lost occasioned by traffic led to the reconstruction of the roads in a contract worth 73 billion naira.
This infrastructure should receive attention every year to ensure that goods are taken out of the seaports seamlessly.
The build-up of infrastructure around the seaport corridor by the federal government is another confirmation that indeed the blue economy is the business hub of the future. In Lagos, Michael Alale, NT News.
And socio-economic activities in the southeast are picking up following the rehabilitation of the Enugu-Port Harcourt Expressway and the Akanu Ibiam International Airport. Comfort Naim reports.
The federal government awarded massive road rehabilitation across the country, and the southeast, noted for bad roads, was not left behind. About 69 roads and bridges across the zone are either completed or in advanced stages of completion.
The way they are working very solid. It's very solid than other road I'm seeing in this Enugu.
The thing is bringing development, and our movement, things are going faster for us now. There is no more delay. Before we do pass through hold-ups here.
61 kilometers Enugu-Port Harcourt Dual Carriage Expressway, awarded in 2017, is one of such projects receiving attention after solving the difficulty in getting a work yard, which has been the major reason behind the delay over the years.
You can see them working at the moment. It is obvious that the complete rehabilitation will take some time.
Work is also in progress on 90 kilometers Enugu-Onitsha Expressway through Anambra axis and 40 kilometers Ozala-Akbugu. A situation no doubt has added great value to socio-economic activities in the area. Meanwhile, port management in Onitsha has taken delivery of licensed containers in readiness to make the river a maritime port.
We had dredged the Niger
sometime in the past, and there has been constant channel maintenance.
All facilities needed are on ground to commence full operation, as work at the second Niger Bridge is at 57% completion, while the Obosi-Owerri Interchange Bridge has reached advanced stage. In Enugu, Comfort Ayim, NT News.
From Kaduna, Amina Seidu Abubakar takes a look at the progress being made on the Abuja-Kaduna-Kano Highway and the AKK gas pipeline project.
Work is progressing on the Abuja-Kaduna-Kano Highway, and reconstruction has been made on all sections of both lanes of the 375 kilometers dual carriage. More than 100 kilometers, though not on a single stretch, has been completed under Section 1, which is the Abuja-Kano Highway. Another 40 kilometers has been completed under Section 2, which is Kaduna to Zaria, as well as 70 kilometers completed under Section 3, Zaria to Kano.
In addition to that, some items of work that were not part of the project before were added. These include overhead bridges we are going to have at selected locations so that people don't have to cross the road like before.
The Abuja-Kaduna-Zaria-Kano Highway is a critical part of the West African Country Road Network, enabling movement of people and commodities from north to the south, and in the process, uniting people and boosting economic activities. In another development, the ongoing 38-kilometer Kaduna Eastern Bypass project continues, though at a slow pace due to some challenges, COVID-19 inclusive.
This project is on Sukuk funding, so issue of funding is not a problem, because once they are able to raise their certificate, they are being paid.
The Ajakuta-Kaduna-Kano National Gas Pipeline is another federal government infrastructural project meant to unleash industrial development in the country.
With cheap gas available, our industries are going to come alive. New industries will even also come up.
The project, which commenced in July 2020, is expected to be inaugurated in 2022. In Kaduna, Amina Saida Abubakar, NTA News.
Let's start our conversation now, as I'm now being joined by Babagana Mohammed, the President, Nigerian Society of Engineers. Babagana Mohammed, welcome to Weekend Fire.
Thank you, Joe.
All right, so national infrastructure projects in Nigeria. Where are we in this regard generally?
Yes. We came from a poor background because we have decayed infrastructures, which also said much about low government spending in infrastructure. But of recent, things are getting better. As I'm talking to you, I just came from Kano on the road. I have the option of going by air, but NAC is driving an infrastructure report card, and I want to see things physical. That's what made me to join the road. And as it was being reported, I have seen some remarkable improvements on the road as it is now. I just left the road not quite 30 minutes. I came from the road straight to NTA. So improvements are coming on. And one thing I'm also looking at, for a country like Nigeria, we shouldn't be having these issues, because infrastructures are things that are tied to development, tied to wealth creation, tied to employment, tied to so many things. Once it is missing, there will be a whole chain of problems. Insecurity, unemployment, poverty, or what have you. So government need to, and focus deliberately on getting infrastructures in place. Spending has to be commensurate and appropriate. And then we now come into development of human capital development. That's where engineers, engineering, and other professionals will come in. Because this country can only be developed passionately by the professionals. Key. So we need to grow the practice of the profession, that we need to grow it, and it has to be delivered by government. How? By deliberate participation of Nigerian professionals. Because we knew this is our country. Whatever we are doing here is for our country and for us to be part of those who are going to use it. But anybody coming from anywhere to make anything or develop anything in Nigeria, the first writing principle there is, what is my gain?
So when you talk about decay, right?
Yeah.
You started off by highlighting that.
Yeah.
What would you describe as infrastructural, the bane of infrastructural decay, especially in a climate like ours?
Ours. Naturally, what would say corruption? Because corruption encompasses so many aspects and it has so many heads. That aside. And also the patronage, it also leads into other corruption again. Because when you say patronize your people, and if you don't, and you are patronizing other people, that's also another part of corruption. So the biggest is corruption. The biggest is because holistically, when we want to look at it, the key thing there is corruption. Corruption takes so many different forms. But we must move forward. We must move forward. Yes, other reasons were given, low standards of material use. All these are part of the corruption. The system is rotten. And for once, at least if we want to get things right, when I say things right, the engineers, the professionals, everybody, we must just put a stop. Let's get things right, done and rightly done. Once that is pronounced, I think we'll be good.
Okay, so in a typical setting, how can an infrastructural development plan be achieved in a typical setting?
First, gone are the days when you sit down and say, government provide me with everything. It doesn't work any longer because the funds are not available with government and there are competing demands. But there are priorities. Now we need to bring in the private sector. They need to come in. And you have a lot of inconsistent government policies which does not work for us. Example, some time ago, we have all points, what do you call them, on these highways. There are some
checkpoints?
Not checkpoints.
Toll gate?
Toll gates.
Okay.
Somebody came up one day and demolished all of them. Yes, you might have reasons for doing what you are doing, but let's place the pros and cons on the table. And in the first place, who are you even talking to that said demolish this thing? Because these are things that are made by people's money, by commonwealth. So how do you even arrive at demolishing it? You can disuse, you can stop using it, but what pushed you to demolishing it? That is wastage. That is corruption in itself. I can decide not to use it. Then they are already there. Leave them. They are government assets. Leave them.
Okay, so we've been talking about federal roads, right? So what would you say about state roads?
That is where the problem is.
How so?
That is where the problem is. I have gone around, last 3 days I left Abuja for Maiduguri. I was to address NIPS. I addressed NIPS last 2 days in Guru. For me to go to NIPS, I can go from here to NIPS to Jos straight. But because I want to see what's happening on Nigeria roads, I flew into Maiduguri. A cab, my convoy was in Maiduguri. They drove me to Damaturu. I was watching Nigeria roads, taking pictures. They drove me to Bauchi. I was taking pictures. I entered Jos on Nigeria roads. On this Nigeria road, same Nigeria we are talking about. And I saw what I saw for myself. Yes, I have seen.
Can you paint us a picture of
yes,
what you
it
saw?
is looking good now. It's looking good. I don't want to talk for Minister of Works. I'm not their spokesperson. But on a very fair note, it's looking good.
Oh, on that commendable note, let's just pause and take some messages. And when we come back, we talk more. Stay with us.
I dey come now. You go see me now. You go.
Call your party and everybody, yeah. Make we start to the corner. Where you now?
You go see me now.
Everybody they dance.
Where you there now? Oh, you go see me now.
You go
I'm fine, sir. Give me a surprise.
Hey, where you at? You go Mexico, you go Jericho, I don't go let you go.
Hello, how are you?
Tell us one truth nobody knows.
I like to steam it from my mama pot.
The best data plans in town. Dial *777#.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth Entrepreneurship Support Years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. #Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
You're still watching Weekend File. The construction of the multi-billion naira Bodo-Bonny Link Road, the Port Harcourt-Enugu Express Road, and the rehabilitation of the East-West Road are some major projects funded by the federal government to open up the Niger Delta for economic development. Robinson Deratede reports.
The 37.9-kilometer dual-carriage Bodo-Bonny Link Road was awarded in December 2017, having 12 bridges, 1 pipeline crossing bridge, and 3 roundabouts at the cost of 120 billion naira. Presently, over 34% of the project, including 3 bridges and drainages, have been substantially completed from the border axis, raising the hope of the natives that the project will be completed at the October 2022 deadline. The situation is not different at the Section 4 of the Port Harcourt-Enugu Express project, which covers 9 kilometers from Element Junction to Imo River, a boundary between Rivers State and Abia States. The project, which commenced in 2017, is 8 lanes dual carriage road with drainages and is about 80% completed, with vehicles already plying one side of the road.
I know where the road is bad, but now, Port Harcourt to Aba is just 15 minutes. No more go slow, no more crying. Everybody is enjoying it. We're going to bless Buhari.
Just as rehabilitation work is progressing along the East-West Road between Bayelsa and River State's axis, over 132 kilometers progress has been achieved from the 330 kilometers Calabar-Ikot-Katsina-Ala Federal Road in Akwa Ibom State.
For years now, the East-West Road have been a death trap. But we thank God that the government have been able to put it in order.
See even the effect of the road, this stretch which we have completed in the community. If you will agree with me, if you are familiar with that road, a lot of new buildings.
Some of these roads are built to be completed on or before the end of the year. In Port Harcourt, Robinson Deratede, NTA News.
The steady progress of work on the 220-kilometer Kefi-Akwanga-Lafia-Makurdi road has continued to elicit excitement among road users and communities in the areas. Isa Mohammed reports that the story is, however, different for the 49-kilometer Wamba-Bokos road, which contract was awarded in 2014.
The Abuja-Lafia-Makurdi road was awarded in 2019. The project, being executed by a Chinese firm, has a 36-month period of completion. Though work on the project suffers some setbacks due to coronavirus pandemic, it has once again picked up in earnest.
We are working so hard to see how we can meet up with a duration of time.
On more than 40% of the road, other sections has some substantial work completed in the areas of earthwork, culverts, bridges, drainages, and road shoulders. The Federal Controller Works in Lafia said, though work is slowed down in some residential areas and utility lines, such challenges will soon be tackled.
All the quality assurance, quality works has been carried out to see the control of the quality of what they are doing. The temperature, the thickness, every other parameters have been checked.
What the government is doing is really fantastic, highly commendable.
However, at the Wamba-Bokos Federal Road, the story is not as pleasant as the 49 kilometers road awarded in 2014, and contractors mobilized to site in 2015 has only seen 3.8 kilometers of the road done, while other portions abandoned. Village head of Angwan Jato along the Aziz appealed to the contractors to come back to site as the states at which the road has been abandoned is posing a huge challenge, especially as the rainy season will soon commence.
In Lafia, I am Isa Muhammad, NTA News.
Thank you, Isa. All right, so let's continue with our conversation because I still have Babagana Mohammed, the President, Nigerian Society of Engineers. All right, so before we went on that break, of course, with the stories we're getting, stories of progress, especially in the area of road construction and rehabilitation and all that. Let's turn our attention elsewhere because one of the, administration's key component of economic recovery plan is rebuilding of national structures. How far have we gone in that regard?
Now we have seen roads. And when we say infrastructures, road is not the only infrastructures. We have lines carrying power. Most of them are looking not too good. It's an issue. It's part of the infrastructure. That has to come in. Of course, yes, some things are being done, but as I am a member of the Presidential Power Initiative appointed by Mr. President Buhari, I'm a member. But as I'm talking to you now, these things, I went through all these roads, all these things you have seen. I've gone through most of them. 80% I've gone through in just the span of 2 weeks. And the reports are okay, but the power transmission lines, some are falling, some are not done well, some are not starting well, some are leaning. I think a lot needs to be done. So when we are talking about infrastructure, it's not only about roads.
Of course.
Yes, road is getting better.
Yes.
And one other thing that will come to your mind is these roads are now being put by government. Then what next? Because people are going to use this road. These are going to get to the position that where we are. What next? We need to have a mechanism. That's why I said private participation is key. Let's take a look at Kaduna, Abuja axis. Everybody is saying there is armed robbers, there is kidnappers. No, there's a better way of working on it. It is only 173 from Abuja to Kaduna. I just picked it live from there. You can give 50 to different people to manage 50 kilometers. Security plus line inclusive. When you are passing, you pay a token, 100 naira. It's doable. It's doable. That will bring about sustainability. That will bring about maintenance. And when I was passing through Kaduna, the state government need to do a lot. Yes, some of the roads are federal roads, but they are in your state. The federal do not come and use them. They are in your state. So the onus now will be on you, the government in that state, to look after these roads. How you want to recover your money from the federal government, I don't know.
I was just going to ask that.
I don't know.
That's usually the crux of the matter,
I don't
isn't
know.
it? Because
And we don't want to know. It's not our business knowing it. But what is very important is the road has to be fixed. Key. Who fix it, who get money from who isn't our problem.
All right, we're running out of time. Quite a shame because we were just getting deep into what we're talking about. But just your final thoughts on infrastructure for development. What are your final thoughts?
Private-public partnership. Key.
Public-private partnership. Thank you very much, Baba Gana Mohammed. In fact, I couldn't have done it better. You have. You've really simplified, the discussion, and you've done that pretty well. Of course, an insightful moment with you. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you very much for coming on Weekend File.
Thank you, sir.
All right, let's get you some stories now. Fastest man and woman in Nigeria emerge. Let's join Tamara Ibiwe in Benin.
Come to Edo 2020 Sports Update. I am Tamara Ibiwe.
That's it. Taking off. Who wins? Who is going to be the fastest man in Nigeria? Edo is coming up. Edo is coming up. And that's it. Adegoke Enoch of Edo State. Who is going to be the fastest woman in Nigeria? They go. They move. That is it. They go. Who gets it? That is it. She gets it. Grace Unzubechi of Delta State.
I'm really happy with my performance.
Lagos State are one step away from winning gold after they defeated Team Edo 57 to 45 points in the women's semi-final. In the men's round-robin match, Kwara lost to Kano 66 to 94 points.
Playing as a team, we had a little issues on that today, so that was what cost us our game. So for the third place, usually third place are always so challenging. We want to be on the medal table. We must be on the medal table. So tomorrow's game is going to be a team game. However, whatever, we have to win it.
In beach volleyball, Team Rivers are up against Team Imo in the men's final scheduled for Sunday, April 11. Rivers outplayed Kaduna 2-1 in the second semi-final, while Edo lost to Imo in the first semi-final. The last group game in the women's category will see Gombe take on Kaduna. In pole vault, after finishing fourth in the 19th National Sports Festival held in Abuja in 2018, Sunday Jack Den has won gold after competing in his second National Sports Festival. The excitement that welcomes traditional sports is still being talked about in the National Sports Festival, as Kano won 2 gold medals in Kokowa. Team Bauchi won their first gold medal in Langa Kawoshi. And that's Edo 2020 Sports Updates. Do stay tuned on the NTA for more updates. I am Tamara Ibiwe.
We have more sports for you, this time with Samuel Johnson.
The 3 United States-based international basketball instructors are in Gombe State with support of Adamu Yola Foundation to engage over 100 youths in basketball skills to sharpen their talent. The training, which is for youth in the 6 states in the northeastern part of the country, also provides university scholarship in the United States for brilliant players. In the game of golf, returning National Open Championships and making the country's Professional Golf Association more vibrant have been identified as the only option of making Nigeria rank high in golf at continental and international arena. Nigeria's #1 golfer made this remark at the retirement match in honor of the Naval Dolphin Golf Club captain in Lagos.
It's important that we start supporting the game a great deal.
Sincerely, we need a very strong Nigerian PGA to forge ahead.
In football, matches in Nigeria National League continue with Gateway beating Insurance 2-0, while Nnewi United defeated Delta Force 3-1. In the English Premier League, Manchester City lost 1-2 to Leeds United, while Liverpool got a better part of Aston Villa 2-1. With sports update, Samuel Johnson, NTA News.
And that Weekend File for this week. Thank you very much indeed for your company. I'm Joseph Johnson. Remember to always connect with the NTA to stand against rape and rapists. Good night.
Everything music.